Hello and welcome to another episode of The Mark Medley Show. And today's episode is actually my birthday episode because today is August 17th and it is my birthday. In my opinion, and truly my opinion, the greatest day there ever was, August 17th. And I know there are those who have dates on 364 other days who would disagree. However, for me, August 17th is the greatest day there ever was because it was the day I was born. And it is the impetus for today's episode because this morning when I was behind the microphones of my radio show and I was expressing my thoughts in terms of it being my birthday, I started talking about how some folks are actually ashamed to tell their age. And what I was sharing was there is absolutely no shame in my game. I have no problem with saying that today, August 17th, 2019, I was blessed to turn 57 years old as I was born August 17th, 1962. As a matter of fact, if I remember the time correctly, and I'll have to verify with my mother, I was born around 4:10 p.m. or 4:20 p.m., somewhere between 4 o'clock and 4:30 on August 17th, 1962, Mark Medley entered the world. So I have absolutely no problem, no shame, no issue with stating and saying that I am 57 years old. And let me tell you why. Because there are classmates of mine who didn't make it to 57. There are folks who were born in 1962, just like I was, who are not here now. So there is no shame because in my mind, whatever age you are blessed to reach it, particularly in a time when folks are passing away or transitioning younger and younger. At one point, it seemed like only those who were old, like 80, 90, 100, those were the only folks who were passing away and the funerals we were having. But that's not so in 2019, as we are hearing more and more young people, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, who are passing away. So as I said, there were folks who were born the same year that I was, 1962, who did not make it to 2019. So that's why there is absolutely no shame in my game whatsoever to loudly and proudly proclaim that I am 57 years old or 57 years young. Because see, this is the thing. The older you get, the younger higher ages seem. So say, for example, when I was 5, somebody who was 25 seemed old. However, when I became 20, I knew 25 was still young, and on and on and on. So right now, at 57, in my mind, 57, 60, that's young. Because, again, I have this crazed sense of humor and crazed planning that my intent is to live to be 100 and healthy. Now, I don't know what God's plans are. He probably laughs at my plans and says, yeah, right. Because like I said, for me, the stipulation is 100 and healthy. I don't want to be here 100 and debilitated. I don't want to be here 100 and not know that I'm here. But if I can get 100 and healthy, because as I always say, 100 doesn't even make the radar screen of eternity. It's not even a pimple, not even a speck, not even a pinhead, not even close to the radar on the radar screen of eternity. So for me, 100 years and healthy would be wonderful. Now, I have friends and folks that say there's nothing I want to be on this place 100 years for. And by that time, most likely all of my friends and relatives will have gone. I'll be the only one here. I get that. But again, it's something to shoot for, and what we constantly tell ourselves, because those that are saying I'm only going to be X age, they may only get to that age because words are powerful. Now, let me tell you why the fact that I have no problem stating my age is not an issue for me, because my father passed away 1 week before his 49th birthday. His birthday was on August the 14th. He passed away April the 14th. He passed away on April the 7th. So 1 week prior to his 49th birthday, he passed away on April 17th. April 7th. I'm getting all my numbers and months mixed up here because the letter A and the numbers are very similar. But he passed away on April the 7th, with his birthday being a week later, April the 14th. He did not live to see 50. In fact, he did not live to see 49. So I have no problem with saying that I am alive, well, in my right mind at 57. And as I get older, I look to gladly continue to proclaim whatever my age is, because whatever age you get to is a blessing. In other countries, the older you get, the more you're revered, the more you're seen for your wisdom, the more you're respected. That's other countries. That's not necessarily the view here in the United States. It is for some, but not for all, because for many, they feel like the older you get, the less you're needed. That if the older you get, the more we can toss you aside. In other countries, it's not that way. In other countries, the more senior you become, the more seasoned you become, the older you become, the more you're respected, the more you're looked to, the more you're looked upon, the more you're gone to folks go to you to ask, what do you think about this? So I have no problem. Most likely the title of this podcast will be something along the lines of, I don't understand why anyone would be ashamed of their age, something along those lines. Because the way the system is set up now, I can actually record the podcasts prior to me putting a title on it. It wasn't that way before. Before, you put your title first and then you did the podcast, but now the system has been changed and I can actually record the podcast first and then put the title on it. So sometimes the title comes to me after I've already said whatever it is I wanted to say during the episode. But the upshot of this episode is no one should be ashamed of their age. If anything, they need to be grateful and thankful that they've made it as far as they've made it. If you've made it to 60 years old, God bless you. If you've made it to 70 years old, God bless you. You've made it to 80 years old, God bless you. 90, 100, or in my case, 57, because I'm going to say again, I can look through my yearbook. I can look through my high school yearbook, and there are kids that graduated with me who are no longer here, who through the years, right now in 2020, I'll be celebrating my 40th high school graduation reunion, if we live to see it, God willing. That's next year, 2020. Each time we have a reunion, more and more of our classmates have passed away. Now again, it started out for the most part the same years, 1962, 61, 63, somewhere around that area. Did not make it to 2019. So I am grateful, I am thankful, and I encourage anyone, don't be ashamed of your age. Because at this point, for me, the inner me, the spirit of me, is no different than it was when I was a child. My inner child is still just as strong as it's ever been. All of the things that I loved to do as a child, I still have a passion for now. As a child, I always loved trucks and buses and planes and trains and bicycles. Anything with motion or a vehicle, I loved those as a child. And to this day, I still do them. My inner child is fed now with simulators on the computer. There's very few days that go by that I don't fly. I love airplanes. Very few days that I don't fly on Flight Simulator X or either on Flight Simulator. And it really does get real. I have to hit all of the switches and the dials and the controls. I have to do pretty much what a pilot has to do. In terms of the trucks, there's American Truck Simulator and there's European Truck Simulator. I have two businesses set up. I have a business set up on the American side. I have a business set up on the European side. And I go in and I drive and haul loads. Always loved that. If you look at any pictures of my youth, you'll see that. In terms of bicycles, I still ride my bicycle. When I go out, I usually do 20 miles or more at the time. If you look at the pictures of my youth, you'll see pictures of me on my bicycle. Football. I played football and baseball as a child. Right now, I still play on a softball team, and as far as football is concerned, I play Madden NFL. Again, on the computer or, as a gamer. But in any event, my point is, the same things that I loved as a child, I still love as a 57-year-old. The same passions that I had then, I started playing the piano when I was 8. I still play the piano and now have added the bass guitar. So my love for music, that hasn't changed. The same passions that I had as a child are the same passions that I have as an adult. And my inner child is constantly fed. I said earlier, when I go to work, I work hard, but when I come home and want to play, I play hard. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with tapping into my inner child. None. I'm a 57-year-old big kid. Now, there's a difference between being childlike and childish. There's two different things. There's a difference between being childish, spoiled brat, versus being childlike. I said earlier again, whenever I did my radio show earlier in the morning, biblically, Jesus talks about children. God talks about coming as a child in terms of your perception, in terms of your mindset, in terms of humbling yourself as a child. So that's even if you look in the Bible in terms of being childlike. I love my inner child, have no problem with it. As a 57-year-old, I have no problem playing with an 18-year-old. No problem playing with an 8-year-old. Maybe that's why I'm in education. Maybe that's why being an educator works for me, because I'm around children all the time, and my inner child is constantly fed there as well. The point of this episode is, please do not be ashamed of your age, whether you're 25 or 75. Be grateful that you're still here. And if you still have your health and your strength, you still have what they call your right mind, that kind of like just here, but you don't know you're here. But you're here, you're here. You can move somewhat, maybe not like you did when you was 10, but you can still move and get around and do whatever it is that you like to do. Be grateful. Don't be shameful. Don't be ashamed. Don't be so vain to tell people your age. If somebody asks me how old I am right now, I have no problem with saying 57. Somebody said, how does it feel to be 57? The same way it felt to be 56. Same way it felt to be 10. Same way it felt to be 15. Now, don't get me wrong. Physically, there are some things you can or can't do. Maybe not as well as you did in your younger years. But again, the inside of you, the you of you, my guess is it hasn't changed too much. But you got to tap into it. You can't be around worrying about your age. There's a movie called Keep the Faith, Baby. And it's about Adam Clayton Powell Jr. And there's a line in there that says age is relative. Age is relative. So there's no need sitting around talking about what you can't do because you feel like you're too old. There's no need sitting around feeling like it's too late. Whatever it is you want to get done, get it done. I leave each Saturday morning on my radio show, may you live as long as you want and not want as long as you live. Live each day as if it were your last, because one day it will be. So don't be sitting around talking about, oh, I'm too old, or I'm getting older, or my age. Because see, you're not going to hear me, oh, I guess I'm getting old. You're not going to hear me saying, there are some things you're just not going to hear me saying. I think I shared with you in the last podcast, you're not going to hear me saying I'm not worthy. You're not going to hear me saying I'm too old. You're not going to hear me saying, oh, I guess I'm getting old. There's just some words, because words are powerful, you're not going to hear me say. I'm 57, thank God, I feel great. There are some issues, but hey, you know what? It's like anything else that begins to age, things begins to get a little slacker than they might have been. They may hurt a little bit more than they might, but you know what? We're still here. Long as there's life, there is hope. All right, so you can catch me live each Saturday morning on FM radio in the northern New Jersey, New York area, 88.7 FM. But more importantly, we web stream around the world on Go Brave. That's GOBRAVE.org. And you can also catch us on the TuneIn Radio app. You can catch me there. But I tell you what, if all of this that I'm saying you can't remember or you didn't jot down, go to my website, because it acts as the portal. It acts as the hub. And it's my name, MarcAmedley.com. Go to markamedley.com and it'll take you into everything else that I just talked about, the radio show, the blog, the podcast. It'll take you there. It's the hub for everything else that I do. Just go to my website, markamedley.com. And again, it's my birthday today, special day for me, August 17th. I was born August 17th, 1962. I cannot believe 57 years have gone by that quickly. I just posted a picture of my baby picture on Facebook when I was 3 days old. And 57 years have gone by that quick. So that means the 43 that I have remaining will probably go just as quick. And before you know it, I'll be gone from this place we know of as Earth. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to have a wonderful day regardless. It is my birthday. If I don't do anything, that's a celebration enough for me. The fact that I'm still here. Thank you for listening, and always be on the lookout for another episode of The Mark Medley Show.